Thomas, joined by Craig Burley, Stevie Nicol and Ali Moreno. We start, of course, at the Camp Nou, where it finished Barcelona 3, Liverpool 0. Barca with a 1-0 lead going in at half-time, thanks to the goal from Luis Suarez. The second half, Lionel Messi scoring from close range, and then Barca's third goal coming from a stunning free kick for Messi, putting Barcelona very much in pole position when it comes to qualifying for the final. It's interesting, Craig, you look at that 3-0, you think, well, Barca must have dominated the game, but was it as simple as Barca took their chances?
Yeah, I mean, I think that obviously they were more clinical. It was the big concern for Liverpool. I thought they played some good stuff. I've seen them playing a lot worse this season and struggle or get a result. You know, they went in there, the game started like a house on fire, it toed and froed, there was lots of space, unlike yesterday's game. But ultimately, we talked about this all week, for 2 weeks. What's the difference between these sides?
Yeah.
And it boils down to kind of one thing, and it's Messi. So Liverpool wasn't a bad performance, but it was a bad result.
That's a good way of summing it up, really, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, nobody can have a problem with the way Liverpool played in this game. Yes, before the game, we saw that Firmino wasn't starting and Gomez was also in for Alexander-Arnold, and we kind of wondered what he was doing. But for 75 minutes, Liverpool more than matched Barcelona on their home field. And you can't ask for more than that. After that, then we're just talking about one guy that Craig said, and that's Messi. You know, he gets the rebound off the crossbar, but he completely panics, pulls it down with his chest, and then tickles it over the line.
You were saying that anyone else would header that?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, I think most other players would try and adjust themselves and head it, not this guy. He knows exactly what's going on around him. He knows exactly how long he's got, what time he's got. He knows exactly what he's going to do, and he does it as if it's just like pouring himself a glass of water. And then the free kick. The free kick. He's hit this thing from 30 yards. It's outside the wall. There's nothing wrong with where the wall's positioned, and he's brought it back in and given Alisson Becker, one of the best keepers in the world, not a chance of getting anywhere close to it.
It's incredible. When you that's 600 goals now for Barcelona, for Messi, and we did talk about it. And that's why we talked about it so much as being the difference. And today, he was.
He was, and we're not surprised. Because we sit here, and see, the standard that he has set for himself is so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous that we sit here and we're not surprised that Lionel Messi did what he did, and how well he played in spurts, and how well, whenever he touched the ball, everybody else is now paying attention. The goal by Luis Suarez, and it's a tremendous ball by Jordi Alba, and it's a great finish by Luis Suarez. The reason it happens, part of it, is because a lot of people are paying attention to Lionel Messi, who's sitting on top of the 18-yard box. Like, clearly, this ball has got to come across to Lionel Messi. Everybody pays attention to him. Great ball by Jordi Alba, good finish by Luis Suarez. He affects the game in so many different ways that you just cannot understate, or overstate, I should say, the importance of Lionel Messi in a game like this. When you have two evenly teamed, you have a talented groups, when you have danger on both sides, when you have teams that can allow themselves to really maximize their potential, the one winner above all of them, the difference maker, the guy that puts everybody in a different category altogether, is Lionel Messi. Salah is a tremendous player, but he's not Lionel Messi. So when there was a moment for Mohamed Salah to become and to finish with his right foot, he puts it off the post. Some people will say unfortunate, unlucky. I'm saying if you're Mohamed Salah, you have to put that ball in, because that changes the dynamic of this whole series. Lionel Messi on the other side, calm, cool, collected. He finishes his chances. Thank you very much. See you guys later.
2-0 or 3-1 was, I think, gettable, potentially. Thinking about the free kick.
Yep.
It's just top draw. So that probably killed the game. You just talk about the chances missed. Mane in the first half. You know, Salah with the right foot. There were others.
Milner had that chance as well.
There were others. I mean, Barcelona had chances because Liverpool were so gung-ho at the end and with set pieces and that, trying to get their away goal. But I do think they should be, well, they don't have to be, but I do think special mention to Luis Suarez here, because he, from a neutral point of view, he was a pain in the backside again all night. Now, we watched in the commentary, Stevie said, you want him in your team. And Liverpool did have him in his team for a few years, and he was a brilliant player for Liverpool. But he stood in offside position half the time. So the centre-halves are back round checking where he is. That's taking an eye off Messi dropping in the hole. So he's always giving you a problem. And then more importantly, when he scored, by the way, he was trying to rub all the Liverpool players up the wrong way. So he's getting in the head, and then he scores, and he celebrates. There's none of this nonsense. I was at Liverpool. It was a great club. And I loved it there, and I don't want the fans to be upset with me, so I'm not. It's a Champions League semi-final, and I just think he epitomised, because he's not had the greatest of seasons by his standards, but he epitomised and there was a bit of needle in the game,
sure,
but he epitomised the attitude of wanting to get to that major final again.
I don't think we should understate how well Liverpool played. Listen, after an hour, they took off a forward in Coutinho and put on a defender in Semedo. That's how dominant Liverpool were for the first 15 minutes, particularly of the second half of this game. So, as great as we know Messi is, and as fantastic as Suarez's goal was, Liverpool were... Barcelona could not get out their half of the first 15 minutes of this game, the second half of this game.
But the problem is they lost 3-0.
And because you started this show by saying, was it because they took the chances? You really could sum that up. Absolutely. Yes, Salah should have scored. Salah had another one saved from Ter Stegen. Mane should have scored. Milner had a couple of chances where he could have done better. So, absolutely, this was not about who were the best team. This was about a team that didn't take the chances, and the other team had a guy called Messi.
By the way, just as a side note, I don't know how a team loses 3-0 and your left back gets a 9 on the player rating.
Oh, no, Stevie, you said he was excellent as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but
absolutely. Played some great balls forward. He made two.
9?
He made 2.
You lost 3-0.
He made 2 tackles. He made 2 tackles that were goal-saving tackles, and every other thing came down the other side.
So
every other thing came
9.
down the other side.
A 9.
Absolutely.
Losing 3-0.
Absolutely.
Semi-final Champions League.
Yep.
Okay.
Didn't
Excellent.
Never put a foot wrong all night and saved 2 goals. I don't know what else you want from him.
Well, not allowed 3 goals.
By the way, he put a couple of fantastic balls in the box as well.
Right. I'm not going to get caught up in whether Robertson has a 9 or not, but I can tell you that for anybody, you can't get a 9 when you lose 3-0. I'm just saying.
So if the goalkeeper makes 20 saves and you lose 3-0, you're going to give him a 5.
He doesn't get a 9. But whatever. It's neither here nor there. I will suggest that Ernesto Valverde deserves credit here, because the change that you're talking about in recognizing, when you see Semedo warming up, it's like, well, maybe he's going to bring him for the pace, because they were struggling down that side and Sergio Roberto was struggling. Instead, he takes off Coutinho and he says, you know what? We're going to have to match numbers in the midfield, and we're going to have to be able to get some numbers in behind the ball so we can defend. So I get the pace of Semedo, push Sergio Roberto into the midfield, Coutinho out, Vidal to the left-hand side, and it forces Liverpool into more crowded areas, and it makes Liverpool a whole lot more predictable because it slows Liverpool down. Slowing Liverpool down, then they cannot take advantage of their athleticism and their ability to try to isolate Barcelona in 1v1 situations. After that change happened and Barcelona settled down, they became a different team in the second half. The game was more even, and that's when Barcelona and Lionel Messi took over. That's where they distanced themselves.
It's interesting watching Coutinho play, considering the Coutinho that was at Liverpool and was such a shining star, and Barcelona paid so much money. Alongside Suarez and Messi, he looks so average, doesn't he? So average.
Yeah, but he's not.
But he has been this season for Barcelona. It's going to be a big conundrum for Valverde going forward.
Oh, I agree, but he's not average, but he's playing average.
Yeah.
That's the difference. He is not an average player, but he's playing... I think he's just finding it difficult. One, with the pressure of playing for Barcelona, and 2, with the pressure of... And you saw Messi when Vidal made that mistake, or the poor decision when he was through. Messi was berating him, you know, basically saying, hey, that's just... You know, and I wonder if, you know, there's been a little bit of that as well. A bit like, you know, when Ronaldo and Bale and stuff like that, you know. So I wonder if he's just under the weight of, you know, I have to be somewhere close to what he's doing because they've paid this money for me. And I think it's a bit much for the lad at the moment.
How do you fix that, though? Because they've tried in so many different ways to get Coutinho into the Coutinho that we know.
I tell you what happened that was very clear to me. When Dembele got off the bench and went to warm up, the whole stadium was going crazy. Right. And it has to do with the fact that they prefer Dembele out there on the field than Coutinho. Now, on the subject of Dembele,
that late.
well, he could have killed this off 100% see you guys later, it's all over. And even though it's 3-0, it will be nearly impossible for Liverpool to come back. He had 2 chances in the end. In particular, the last one. Make it 4-0, we're not even having a conversation. But Dembele is a guy that gives this team the athleticism that perhaps they don't have with some of the other guys. Luis Suarez running around, although he's a pain in the backside, he's a great striker, and his movement of the ball is fantastic, he doesn't quite have the pace to stretch back lines. Dembele does have that pace, and he can get in behind. And then if he gets in behind, then lines drop back, and then that allows Lionel Messi a whole lot more space. Coutinho doesn't give you that, and he's not giving you much more than that either.
As a player, when you join a club like Barcelona that has superstars in it, people talk about, well, you take time to settle in. Well, what that means is it takes time for you to feel as though you belong. That's, I think, the problem Coutinho's having. It's not that he doesn't have ability. I think he still looks at Messi and Suarez and other players like a wee puppy dog.
Right.
You know, you have to go wherever you go and feel as though you may not be as great as somebody standing next to you, but you're as important to the team. And I don't think Coutinho has settled in that way yet. I still think he feels as though he's still got to prove something rather than just do what you were brought to the club to do.
But the problem is that it's been too long now. We're not 6 months in anymore. Yeah. And there's been plenty of time for him to, take that position or taking the approach. What I think with some of these guys, and it happened to Alexis Sanchez as well, is that you got Lionel Messi, and so you feel like you have to play the ball to Lionel Messi. Whereas if you just take the position, you know what, I'm just going to hang out here on the left. Because this is what happened. Lionel Messi is going to create his own space, and he's going to attract a whole lot of attention. And when he attracts a lot of attention, I'm going to be wide open. Yep. Instead, he feels like, I got to get involved. I think less is more, or should be more for Coutinho. And he's neither here nor there. He's got in between and thinking out way too much and not really showing what he's capable of.
I'm sure Neymar's really pleased that you left. You enjoyed watching that.
Yeah, well.
Who enjoyed watching that more, Neymar or Ronaldo? From Liverpool's point of view, of course, the big talking point from the starting 11, no Firmino. Like, does that make did that make any difference today?
Yeah, I think so. Well, a fit Firmino, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Well, because he's, that's your front 3.
Yeah.
And I've talked about him dropping back and helping the midfield and winning the ball. So it did, but clearly they didn't feel between them that he was fit enough, and I think Klopp said that he didn't think he could go 90 minutes, which is a real shame. So not from a defensive point, well, not so much from the goals point of view, but I think maybe in the final third they might have made a little bit of a difference. The game panned out. I mean, we didn't see the Messi free kick coming, but the game kind of panned out how we kind of thought in terms of there was an away goal there for Liverpool. Absolutely was. They just weren't clinical enough. And that ultimately is what's going to cost them in the end.
How naive or how ambitious were they at the end? Because Ali mentioned, obviously, a couple of times they were caught at the back. Should they have just...
I'll be honest, I was really, really shocked at how they just... Listen, you've still got another game to go. And amazing things do happen. Barcelona proved it against PSG a couple of seasons ago. But I'm watching Klopp telling everybody to get forward. And I'm thinking, you know what? Yes, it's 3-0. And yes, a goal would have been huge. But you're not just going to throw the whole tie away on a corner. So that surprised me. And realistically, it could have been 5. 2 of those corners, Barcelona broke with 3 against 1 pretty much. So I was shocked at the naivety of that. That was the only thing I was shocked at.
The second leg, of course, at Anfield next week. Coming up, we'll be discussing that. Just a reminder that if you ever miss a show, you can download our daily podcast, which is available on the website, or you